I don't know if you need an introduction as to like who I am, so I'm just gonna do one at the beginning here, just in case. Hello, my name is Nick Jenkins, also known as Black Light Attack on YouTube and Twitter and a few other social media sites. I am a relatively small-time YouTuber with about 15,000 subscribers and about 1,000 followers on Twitch.tv and 2,000 on Twitter. Relatively small in the grand scheme of things, but still somewhat successful. So I have some questions here from Krishan, and he asked me to answer them for you. So here we go. Question number 1: define Let's Playing, or LPing for short. Let's Playing has a few different definitions depending on who you ask. For me, specifically, a Let's Play refers to a type of gameplay commentary video. Gameplay commentaries are very frequent and common on YouTube these days, but in my opinion, a Let's Play is specifically defined as a style of commentary where a Let's Player, or YouTuber otherwise, just some guy, sits down and plays a game, attempts to go start to finish if he can, start to finish on the game, records every single second of that gameplay, and just records live commentary throughout the whole thing. A Let's Play doesn't necessarily have to have commentary focused on the gameplay or the game being played at hand, or even video games in general. For me, I sort of use it as a blog, almost a personal vlog almost, but it just happens to have video games on there instead. Generally, based on my definition, a good game to Let's Play would be a single-player, story-driven game, but Let's Play seems to be sort of open to interpretation. Some people define it differently than I do, so as long as somebody's creative, they can really come up with a Let's Play of pretty much anything. Question number 2: how long have you been Let's Playing? Well, I started my YouTube channel around December of 2010, but I didn't actually start getting the Let's Playing until about late January, early February of the next year. Let's Playing, for me, is sort of a real commitment because it goes start to finish, so I didn't want to jump right into it. I wanted to do a couple of one-off commentaries over like single multiplayer games. I started with Call of Duty, but once I got more comfortable behind a microphone, I attempted a Mass Effect 2 Let's Play, and actually one that I think went over really well. Didn't get a lot of views and still doesn't have many to this day, but Mass Effect 2 was the first one I started in late January of 2011. Question number 3: what made you join YouTube and why? Quick background on me. My day job is a monitoring job. I work for a home security company, and I just basically send police where they're needed. So a lot of that time is spent sitting around doing nothing, and so very quickly you start to learn how to entertain yourself. And I do have internet access there, luckily, so I spend a lot of time on YouTube. And when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out, I was really addicted to it, and every day I was at work, I was waiting till I could get home and play it. So eventually I put 2 and 2 together and searched up some Modern Warfare 2 gameplays on YouTube, and that's how I got introduced to the whole YouTube commentary. Started getting attached to some big YouTubers like Hutch and Sam5000, were some big names back in the day. And you can only watch those dudes for so long before you start to want to try it yourself. Now, if I remember correctly, Modern Warfare 2 was a 2009 release, and then I started in 2010, so it was almost a year. It was about a year of watching YouTube before I started wanting to get into it and try it out myself. Question number 4: how would you explain Let's Playing to people who wouldn't know the term? I would explain it as almost like a way to sit down and play through a game with your friend, like when you just got a new game home when you were a kid from Blockbuster or wherever, and you couldn't wait to get through it. Your friend was coming over, and you would just sit down and hand the controller back and forth and just play and just chew the fat with your friend all throughout, playing the game. It's like that, but it's obviously a bit more one-sided since as the Let's Player, I'm doing all the talking and the audience is doing all the listening and doesn't ever get to play. But some of us had friends like that anyway, so it's not all that different. Really, though, the way I can really put it is, it's, to me, and the way that I do my gameplays and my Let's Plays, I would say that it really is just a vlog, except instead of my face, it's video games on the screen. Question number 5. Would you say Let's Playing is a main part of your life? If so, why? I don't know that I would consider it a main part of my life. YouTubing in general might be important enough to me that it's a main part of my life. It certainly gives me something to do. Let's Playing is only about half of what I do on YouTube. The other half is like commentaries and editing, whereas traditionally Let's Plays don't need a ton of editing. The amount of editing that goes into them is pretty minor. I would say it's a major part of my life. Not a main part, though. Question number 6. What is Let's Playing to you, and has it helped you accomplish anything or had an impact on your life? Let's Playing for me is a great way to focus creative energy. Time that I would otherwise spend just sitting around watching movies or playing video games, basically my free time. I instead channel into Let's Plays, among other things, as I mentioned before. But for me, it's a really great way to feel productive and actually get some feedback and entertain some people. If it might be a little bit different to me if I was still in that state where nobody was watching my videos, but since I actually am lucky enough to have an audience, that it ends up being a really fulfilling way to channel my creative energy. Has it helped me accomplish anything or had an impact on my life? I've earned some money from it. I've earned some notoriety from it. It hasn't been a ton of money. It hasn't been enough for me to move out of my parents' house or buy a new car. But it's been a nice little extra chunk of change at the end of the month. And on top of that, I've made some really awesome friends all throughout it, both on the internet and actually, believe it or not, in real life. I actually did meet at least one person. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, just one person so far who has been a fan of my Let's Plays, specifically my Let's Plays, and just so happened to start working at one of my old jobs, and just sort of through sheer coincidence, we ended up meeting up, and yeah, so made a friend. That's pretty important. Question number 7. Would you call Let's Playing a main category on YouTube? Yes, I definitely would say that. It's not the only way that a guy with just a capture card, a video game, and a copy of Sony Vegas and a microphone can get his videos out to somebody. It's not the only way, but it's pretty major. There are big YouTubers who are much bigger than I am and don't do my thing. A lot of Let's Players do a mixture of both commentary and Let's Plays. Some neglect to do Let's Plays entirely, and some only do Let's Plays. And those guys are pretty big right now. You can look at guys like Zach Scott, Chugga Conroy, huge names in the community that mostly do Let's Plays. I think a big thing of it is that it's really good free advertising and free hype generation for developers trying to put their games out there. Whenever somebody basically takes the game and says, hey, I like this so much that I want to play it all the way through and have you guys watch it, that's a pretty genuine endorsement, and considering it's not tied to the developer in any way, it really speaks to people like that. And that's a pretty major thing, that it's actually affecting sales for game developers. I think that's really cool. Right now, YouTube only categorizes gaming. It doesn't split gaming into subsections with Let's Plays, post commentaries, news, reviews, etc. And I think we're fine with that. I don't think that we need to add like subcategories. I think just as gaming, we're fine. But then again, YouTube's categories, of the hundreds of thousands of videos on YouTube, probably millions at this point, I am honestly not sure what the number is, we are fine with just the 7 or 8 categories that they give us. I don't think we need to complicate them any further. I think gaming sums it all up nicely. Question number 8. Who would you recommend Let's Playing to? Well, the one thing to know about making videos about games is that it's actually not a cheap thing. So I would imagine somebody who either has disposable income or some other method, whether it be, generous parents or a part-time job, whatever. Make sure that you have some way of obtaining the equipment that you need, because in order to make quality videos, you need a quality capture method, which does cost money. Video cards can cost anywhere from $100 to $200. You need to be able to afford a decent sounding microphone if you want to make high quality, good, crisp sounding videos, and a good microphone can at the cheapest cost you about $60. And it can add up, and as you start to go into it and you start to get more and more in depth. Do I want to buy a green screen? Do I want to buy this really expensive editing software? It can add up. So one, that person would need to have some method of obtaining that good equipment if they want to make good videos. Two, somebody who has a lot of time on their hands, because it can be very time consuming. Three, somebody who is passionate and caring and interested in video games. For someone who is either very good at speaking and speaking to audiences in particular, or speaking into a microphone in particular, or alternatively somebody who wishes to improve on that. Me, I was very uncomfortable behind the microphone when I first started, but I'm much more comfortable now, and I have YouTube and Let's Plays to thank for that. And I've noticed that it actually seems to have made me a bit more confident in speech in real life as well, when interacting with people face to face. You should probably be somebody with thick skin, because you're going to get a lot of criticism. You should probably be somebody who is sociable and personable, because if you want to get a big following, it's more about who you know than what you do. So, of course, if you can make friends easily in the community, that's a great way to increase your viewer base. And one last thing, you actually have to be able to multitask. You need to be able to play a game and speak about it at the same time. That's harder to some people than it sounds, being able to focus on both the game and the conversation that you're basically hosting with yourself, because when you're trying to entertain an audience, long, awkward pauses while you hone in on a game and focus are pretty awkward. Every now and again, they're permissible, but you don't want to be doing it too often, or else you're not going to retain that viewership. Question 9. Do you believe that everyone should know what Let's Playing is? Not necessarily. Not everybody. There's plenty of people who don't even care about video games. A lot of older folks, but a lot of younger folks too. Some people just don't care for video games, and since Let's Playing is all about video games, then you don't really have to know about it. Even some people who do play video games might not really care about watching them on YouTube. If they're not playing them, then they don't care, and that's perfectly fine. Not everybody needs to know what Let's Playing is, but so if you enjoy watching other people play video games when you can't yourself, like if you're doing homework or something, and you are cool with getting to know some random strangers on the internet who are going to tell you way too much about themselves because they don't have anything to talk about but themselves, then yeah, it's probably for you. Also, you sent me a second question 9 in a second email. I don't know if that's supposed to be replacement question 9 or if that's actually supposed to be question 10. I'll do a recording for both just in case. Question number 9. Question number 10. What is a Let's Player's job on YouTube? In my opinion, it's to entertain, and that opinion is going to vary. In my opinion, we are just there for pure entertainment, and we're there to make you laugh, to make you smile, to interest you with our stories that we have to tell, and our ramblings and musings. But other people see it differently. Because a Let's Player goes start to finish in a video game, some people interpret that to mean that their job is to give them tips and tricks, almost act as a guide for the video game. And that's fine too. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and it's definitely open to interpretation. So depends on who you ask. I would say pure and simple entertainment. Other people may say that their job is to guide other people through the game. Some people may say their job is to advertise the game on YouTube. Whatever you say, it's all open to debate. There isn't one solid answer. So. Anyway, that'll do it for me, folks. Thanks for listening. Hope I've been helpful. See you around.